She told me a story about her father. After he molested her, she dropped to her knees and prayed for God to punish him. 1 week later, he died in a work-related accident. She was left with unanswered questions and a looming guilt of the potential and capability of an abused child's word. I associated her pain, guilt, and confusion with my own. My father lived somewhere in my city, still alive and breathing, living a free life without consequence. A monster, a sociopath, what nightmares and after-school specials are made of. Even with more than 2 decades to find me and make amends, he never will. I'll probably hear about his death weeks after it happens from a friend of the family. A part of me, part of the 8-year-old he molested, still remains on the edge of the bed with a tear-streaked face, waiting for him to walk back up the stairs, turn on the light, hold me, and beg for forgiveness. He'll tell me he was drunk and didn't know what he was doing, that he thought I was someone else, that he's a sexual compulsive, that he wants treatment, that he wants me to punch him in the chest repeatedly as penance, that he knows nothing that he will ever do or say can fade the painful memory, that he can never return my innocence, that he robbed me of my trust of authority, of my faith in adults, of those in a dominant position over me, for turning me into a misanthropic child with fists full of hate. I spent several nights calmly sleeping, knowing he was safely locked away in a prison on one of the many charges he racked up in his 60-something years, but never for what he did to me. I will never have the satisfaction of knowing he's stuck on a cot behind bars, obsessing about how his freedom was taken away because he took advantage of his own son's trust. My friend has the small comfort of knowing her monster died. My monster lives in my city, knowing of a child he abused, but he doesn't attempt to patch up the holes he punctured in my heart. I know he remembers, and it takes everything in me to keep from searching for him every night. I'm younger and stronger than him, and I could punch his teeth out if I found myself within a few feet of his face. I replay the scenario in my head often. Would I say anything? Would I report his whereabouts to the police and have him arrested for being a non-compliant registered sex offender? Would I approach him, wait until he looked me in the eye, and then grab his throat with my left hand while pushing my right fist through his face until my bones became splintered fragments? I grew into a fairly rational adult who understands that violence is a last resort only for times of absolute desperation. But the 8-year-old still rages inside me and wants vengeance, regardless of the cost. But I won't. I sleep soundly and go about my day like that night 27 years ago never happened. I will never see him again unless it's in a casket, and even then, I'm not sure how I'll react because he's still my father. Although he was barely in my life, there were moments when I was a child he'll remember in his own way that he did care about me. He wasn't always a monster. He protected me, held me, and laughed with me. I can't forget, no matter how hard I try. Because late at night I sometimes use those memories to temporarily patch up the holes and scars. And even now, as a cynical adult fighting the contamination left behind by the demons of my childhood, my fists may still be clenched, but at least my arms are capable of holding those who deserve love. And if he shows up old and gray, offering explanations and apologies at my front door, well, maybe even for him. That is, if he earned it. I'm fairly certain the day will never come, but an 8-year-old still waits at the edge of the bed, odds stacked against him, holding out fists full of hope, waiting to hold those who need it the most.